This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can find options that fit your budget and potentially lower your bills. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hey, I'm running out to drop off a stack of letters and packages. Need anything shipped while I'm gone?
Save the gas. Stamps.com lets you print postage and schedule pickups right from your desk. Sync your contacts into the address book, get detailed accounting insights, and get notified the moment your certified mail is delivered.
All from my desk?
All from your desk.
Join the 4 million businesses using Stamps.com right now with code PODCAST and get your free welcome gift. Stamps.com, code PODCAST. Taxes and fees apply.
A Swift Kick in the Ass, episode 105. Life is challenging and difficult. No one gets out alive. Time to suck it up, Buttercup. Get ready for a monster-sized boot aimed to help you get traction on personal change and get living. I am John Curran, your host. Join me as I share my journey, exploring the forces that motivate us to change and help us get through whatever life throws at us. A swift kick in the ass. Life on your terms. Welcome to another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass. I'm John Curran, your host. Today's episode, Reality Kills the Dream. So, as I was cleaning out my computer files, I came across a presentation about dreams. And the presentation kind of caught my eye because it started with a story about the Honor House Products Corp. Now, if you're not familiar with the Honor House Products Corp., I'll just give you a short summary of what that business was. Back in the 1950s, this corporation was formed to sell all different types of products. They advertised in the back of kids' magazines, comic books. They sold products like X-ray glasses and hypno coins. But the one product that really hits home for me was this 7-foot-long Polaris nuclear sub. Now let me paint a picture for you. The advertisement read, "How proud will you be as commander of your own Polaris sub, the most powerful ship in the sea? What hours of imaginative play and fun for you and your friends as you dive, surface, maneuver, watch the enemy through the periscope, and release nuclear missiles and torpedoes. Thrill as you hunt sunken treasure in pirate waters and explore the strange and mysterious ocean floor. This provides hours and hours of adventure, sturdily constructed of cardboard. This thing wasn't waterproof. It wasn't a sub that you could take into the water and go exploring. This was a tool for you to maybe do that, but with your mind. This was a tool of your imagination to help you and your friends imagine and play. And I never got a chance to ordering that. But as kids, didn't our comic books, didn't they just fill us with these fantastic opportunities of fun and adventure and transforming ourselves into something we were yet to be? We're just kids. We're just forming. We didn't know about these deceptive marketing practices. I mean, they're not really lying. Yes, you can be the commander of your own Polaris nuclear sub, but it's going to be a cardboard sub, and the nuclear weapons that you have with it, it's just in your mind. You're not going to be able to blow stuff up, really. But it didn't matter to us as kids. The advertisement, it captured our imagination, and it made something that was impossible seem real in our minds. As we get older, I think life gives you swift kicks in the ass. And, you realize we aren't kids anymore. And we lose our imagination. We lose a lot of our dreams. We can say, yes, our dreams change. Maybe our dream is for something material, like a big house or something for your family, something material. But I think in a lot of regards, we kind of lose sight of our dreams. We just, a lot of us, I think, settle for life the way it is, and we don't look to try to change it. I'm looking to change my life. As you know, that's what I do. That's what I'm about. My next endeavor is a personal one, and it's something that I've been working on for several years now. My dream is to own a piece of property on the Chesapeake Bay, or along it, or on one of the rivers. My one requirement really is, I have a couple of requirements, but the big requirement is that it's on the water. I want to be able to look out and access the water from my property. And I want it to be an hour and a half door to door from my house, because I want to be able to use the property. It's pretty simple, but honestly, I don't have the money to do that right now. But I do have the time, and I do have the knowledge and know-how to start searching out properties and start learning about the properties. I can kill this dream of getting a house on the Chesapeake Bay. I can kill this dream simply by getting a house on the Chesapeake Bay. Reality kills the dream. It makes when you make a dream real, it dies. So I want to have a lot of dreams, and I want to be able to put them out of their misery. I want them to become reality. So how do we do that? Well, let's just realize that our imagination and our dreams, they have a lot to do with where we're heading and what we think is possible. Dreams are about the impossible, and they're endless. But you can put some framework around your dream and find out, put some ends on it, put parameters on it, to make it more realistic, to make it more possible. You can define it. That's really the place where I think you start to really kill your dreams, is you start to define your dreams. While you go through this process, realize that we are probably the greatest limiting factor in our own ability to create positive change in our life. Again, let me say that again. We are our own greatest limiting factor in our ability to change our own life. And it all boils down to perception. Do we think we can do it? Or do we think we can't? A lot of the time, it does boil down to that. But again, how do we make these dreams possible? How do we make these dreams real? Well, let's see how possible they really are. Think about that. How possible is this? Think about how realistic it is and what it depends on. Is your dream measurable? How will you know when you made that dream? We've talked about measurement before, measuring things. It all goes into defining something. If you have a goal of putting goals on something isn't necessarily sexy, but it does tell you whether or not you've reached your goal. Your goal is just setting that line in the sand, and it's a way of recognizing or telling yourself whether you made it. It's just a way to compare yourself and compare your progress and know about your progress. But are you compatible with your dreams? I had a Corvette a long time ago, back when I was single, and I loved that car. I love Corvettes. I love sports cars. But at this time in my life, my Suburban pretty much meets all my needs in every way. A Corvette, it would be fun, but it would really not serve my purposes very well. It would sit most of the time, and it cost me a lot of money to keep, and I wouldn't really use it. It's not compatible with my life. So that dream, I still have it, but I don't really cling on to it. One day, when the time is right, I'll get another one. But it's not that time for me just yet. And I'm cool with that. It's fine. It just doesn't work for my life. So, transition. What are the nuts and bolts of your dream? How is it possible? How is it realistic? How is it measurable? Is it compatible with your life? And how are you going to transition onto this? Now, I really think that some decisions, they come with time, and some you may not on some matters, you might not have a decision to make at this time. Better to let that go until the time comes and the time presents itself, and you'll know when that happens. But let go, because sometimes there aren't any decisions to make. Make the decisions that you can make, and then just let it go. I often find that you really can't step yourself through a process. I mean, you can't step yourself through and know what's going to happen step by step. We're not fortune tellers. We can model, we can create scenarios, we can really try to think things out, but until we get our boots on the ground, you just don't know what to expect. And then you have to deal with it, with the reality in the here and now. So just commit to a path. You don't have to know all the nuts and bolts and know exactly how this is going to be put together. Have yourself a grand vision of what you're aiming for, and recognize that the picture in your head might not be what the reality is and what reality brings. I guess that's where you get in trouble with thinking of a picture as a measurable goal. It's not a measurable goal. It's a vision. It's a goal. I mean, it's a vision that you have in your head. It's a picture. But that's not necessarily measurable, because how likely is it that you're ever able to recreate a picture? Think about how difficult that is. Our lives right now in this moment, and now that moment is gone. In that moment, it's just like a snapshot of a very moving target, of a very quick moving target. What you're trying to do is, if you have a picture in your mind that you're trying to capture, think of how unlikely it is that you would ever be able to create that picture in such exact detail. You might have the elements of it, but I just want you to think about how you approach this and how you motivate yourself to kill your dream by making it a reality. So getting your dreams back and your imagination back, it's not really all that easy. And that's why I think sometimes it's good to kind of just start doing the things that you enjoy doing and try to let go. And just start enjoying life. And if you have a dream, start thinking about what you could do right here and right now that will help move you a little bit closer to that happening. I'll go back to my property example. I want a house on the Chesapeake Bay, just a little shack. I just want a little place to go visit. I don't know the area all that well. I just know I want to be there, and there's a lot of different places I could go. So I'm just looking, and I'm gaining knowledge the best I can. Not sometimes traveling there, taking a look around, and I just fall in love with the area more and more. Or I just go on the internet, and I go on Zillow, and I look at properties, and I look at pictures, and I look at maps, and I read about things. I start filling my time with things that will improve my knowledge and make this more realistic for me. I'm able to better measure my goal, and really I'm still just even forming a picture of what that dream really is, or what it will look like in reality. But how to measure it. How much do I want to pay for this? And we haven't talked about that, but there is a price that we pay for everything that we do. There's a cost involved. So how are you going to pay for it? So, of course, that's part of my considerations as well. And my spending planner, which Tom always used to talk about. I probably need to go back and update it because I still use it, and it's a very important tool. Finances are a part of our dreams. You can buy your dream. Imagine if you wanted to go to South America and live for 6 months and learn to tango or learn to do something, down in South America. I understand you can live down there like a king or a queen for just pennies to the dollar. You could figure out how much that would cost, and you could start saving up your money, and you could put a total cost on there to say, okay, I think my rent's going to cost this much. I'm going to need this much for food. You could start researching it on the internet. Okay, I'm going to need plane tickets. You could start writing this stuff down and thinking about it. Oh, shoot, what am I going to do with all my stuff? Do I sublease my apartment? What do I do with the kids? Do I just put them in a closet with some Cheetos? Oh, they're not going to last for 6 months. There's a lot of things to consider. Maybe you want to take your family with you. Maybe you need to wait until the kids are at an age to where they can appreciate something like that, and then just uproot everyone and move and become international citizens. I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there just because it's fun. And it's fun to imagine, and it's fun to dream. And I want to bring fun back into the podcast. swift kicks in the ass hurt. They suck. This is a part of embracing the suck. This is a part of just recognizing the reality that life goes on and that we need to take full advantage of the time that we have here before that next kick in the ass comes that, does not allow us to get through it. I know you could do this. I don't know what your dreams are, but I know that anyone who has a dream, they can work and start making it real. Again, think about the considerations that I mentioned. How possible is it? How probable is it? Is it realistic? Or is this just a stupid idea? I mean, maybe it is a stupid idea, but it's still realistic. And it's still something you want to do. It's not for me to judge. Measurable. How do you know that you made it? And how do you really know you want it? Some things you won't find out until you go through it. So recognize that too, that you might find out that it's not really compatible. And with this dream's not really compatible with what you want. And you need to back out. And that's okay too. All things must pass. And this is part of the learning process, I think. So I hope this episode helps helps you kill your dreams by making them real. So I'm going to leave you with this quote. It's from Louisa May Alcott. Far away, there in the sunshine, are my highest aspirations. I may not reach them, but I can look up and see their beauty, believe in them, and try to follow where they lead. I hope you found this episode enlightening. I hope you found it motivating, and I hope it gets your ass moving to start living on your terms. So until next time, this is John Curran. Keep kicking ass. Peace. This marks the end of another episode of A Swift Kick in the Ass, placing it directly in the can. As much as I like to talk, even I have my limits. It's time to go. Catch me on the next show. For better or worse, whether you like us or not, please leave comments wherever you get your podcasts. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Visit our home on the interweb. I think you can leave me a voicemail there. You can also email me at john@aswiftkickintheass.com. It's been my extreme pleasure. I hope you got a lot out of it. I hope you got your ass moving. Until then, until the next time, I'm out of here. Peace.